This is the HPSS sample valve. This type of sample system is used for heavy products, and what I mean by heavy is high viscosity. Hot oil, tars, asphalt. When you get the crude out of the ground and you start to refine it, you essentially take all the lighter ended products out of the crude. Kind of like if you boil water at home and you just let it boil until it's completely gone and you have like sediment at the bottom, like the salt and calcium and anything that was in the water. So when you eventually refine all the product out, you have what's called the residual, as it's sometimes referred to, or resid. It's hot, it flows like water. But I'm talking like 500-600 degrees, it flows like water. But when it gets to 100 degrees F or 150 degrees F, it gets solid as a rock. And obviously you see the asphalt, they put it down. It's like, don't step on it. It's hot and it's gonna get tar everywhere, but as soon as it cools down enough, you can drive your car on it, right? Same thing happens here when they need to take samples of this stuff. And the way that they do that is with our HPSS valve. So when they open the valve, the liquid comes out and it goes out this dispense tube into a metal can. Now remember, this stuff is like 500 degrees, so it's smoking, it's very hot. If you got it on you, it would burn you, but it's more of a splashing, getting it on them. Not to mention it's just a big mess, right? The operator puts a container underneath it. They open this up and then the liquid comes out into the container. All of that liquid that's still in here must remain hot and it must get removed prior to walking away with the sample and going back to the lab. Mm-hmm. Steam is flowing through here all the time.
Gotcha.
To keep that hot so that it doesn't solidify in there. We need to get all of that liquid out of there. Mm-hmm. And what we used to do before we invented this purge out adapter is they would take a slop container and put it underneath there, okay? And the reason that they would do that is they need to get that junk out, but where do you send it? What do you do with it, right? You don't want it to just go into the enclosure that it's in. So what they do is put a slop container under it and then turn the steam on, and then steam comes down through here, cleans all of that out, and pushes that residual amount into that container. And when you turn on that steam and clean all that out, it sprays down into the can and collects it, but at the same time, so what happens is that steam is coming in there, which steam is obviously water, right? So when it cools down, it's turning into water, and then you got this heat, and you've got all that mixing together, and so it sprays out all inside the enclosure. This stuff, if it's splashed on someone, it's going to create third-degree burns, and it's going to be a major incident in the facility. So what we invented, the dispense tube, we put a special bayonet connection on the bottom here. So what the operator essentially does is puts this end down inside the enclosure, puts this adapter on it, and twists it on and locks it in place. So what that basically does is it allows them, when they introduce that steam, to purge it out. Rather than purging it out in the slop container, they purge it out and it all goes down through here into the drain of the enclosure, showing the process with the flush purge adapter and how that eliminates that whole mess.